I have great pleasure in welcoming Remi Roques, General Manager APAC Broadsign, to this OSHA conversation on how programmatic can actually drive the OH transformation, especially in times like these when businesses around the globe are looking for new ways to deal with what we call the new normal. So welcome, Remi. It's really great to have you here with us.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for having me, and I'm very glad to provide some input into the current situation and also into the development of programmatic out of home all over the world.
How wonderful. Remi, you worked in diverse industries before moving into the ad tech space.
Yeah.
You began your career as an oil exploration field engineer with Schlumberger, and then moved on to become an R&D software engineer with Airbus Helicopters. You were also a senior project manager with ABB and a managing director of IT company Initiative before you became the managing director APAC for Ayuda Media Systems, which before the company was acquired by Broadsign in 2019. And now you're the general manager APAC for Broadsign. That's quite a journey, really. So what brought you to the ad tech space to begin with?
Yeah, so I had a diverse career. I always worked in software, so that's the common line, but I worked in different industries. So I worked in defense, in oil exploration, as you said. I worked also in mining. So ABB was in mining, so for several years in Australia. And then I joined the advertising industry with out-of-home industry. So yeah, it has been a journey, but always in software. And it was good to see different practices across industries. So that's a great achievement of my career.
Fantastic. Before we really move to the topic of discussion, I'm very interested to know that having worked in all of these different industries, yes, indeed, in the software space, but were there some great learnings that you actually brought to this ad tech world?
Definitely, yes, definitely. The different industries have different degrees of maturity in terms of adoption of information technology and innovation. I think out of home is quite at a high level of innovation, particularly with programmatic. And I think the digital transformation and the programmatic movement at the moment is showing that out of home is leading the way towards innovation and catching up with online advertising. I think we are in a great space at the moment, and I think the coming years are going to be great for out of home.
Lovely. Remi, for a few years now, we've been hearing conversations centered on programmatic OH. And more recently, perhaps in the last 2 to 3 years, there have been several M&As and new partnerships for powering programmatic OH in different markets. In times like these, when businesses are now figuring new ways to build OH, do you think the time has come for programmatic to really go global?
Yes, definitely. So there are several things that are happening. So first, there is the COVID-19 period or situation. And what we saw in 2008 with the GFC, what happened after the GFC is that programmatic online, started to pick up and slowly became mainstream. I think at Broadsign that it's going to be the same with in out of home. Programmatic will become mainstream in the next few years, and we saw already last year a huge and exponential increase in programmatic trading. So we believe that these coming years, and that will be accelerated by COVID-19, we will see programmatic taking off. We think also at Broadsign that this period is also the time for media owners to really look at their processes and try to improve their processes. And that's where they can look at programmatic and try to start implementing programmatic in their business, in their offering. So they can import their inventory on supply side platforms, prepare their audience cards, and start testing the pipes between demand side platforms and the screens.
Which are really the markets where you see programmatic OH has really taken off in significant ways, and what were the key success factors there?
So North America was definitely is definitely a strong market. Europe as well.
Right.
Australia is slowly coming to it. Asia also, we see some pockets where media owners starting to look at that, but definitely started in North America and Europe. There is a lot of competition there. In North America, the market is fragmented, so there are several reasons why programmatic was an advantage there over direct sell.
All right. What were typical reservations for media owners to participate on programmatic platforms? Because, you know, while it is, it looks good at the outset that, you know, they have another platform to connect with buyers, they seem to be a little hesitant when it comes to programmatic. So are there any particular issues that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, so the number one issue for all media owners across the world is education. They don't understand what programmatic is. They don't understand how it's going to work. And so education is really key in getting programmatic off the ground in out of home. So that's what we are doing with at Broadsign. We've got a programmatic university on our website that everybody can browse and can look at videos and learn about programmatic. We had some webinars one per week in the last few weeks while during the COVID-19 period, in which we educate the market about programmatic. We believe that once media owners start to understand how it works, they will try, and then they will understand the value of programmatic. So education is key.
Are you seeing really a big push in that direction of awareness building on programmatic?
Yeah, we see a big push. I mean, on our side, we always say, you know, there's nothing to lose to try. I mean, programmatic there's a little bit of work on both sides, the media owner side and on our side, to set up the pipes, but there is no cost associated with implementing a programmatic solution. The revenue that the software vendors like Broadsign take is on transactions. We take a percentage of transactions, so we don't charge on the implementation onboarding of programmatic platforms. So, you know, in this period when media owners have a little bit of time to look at their processes and implement platforms, for them it's an opportunity, and there is no cost associated with coming on programmatic platform.
Wonderful. Is it a precondition that a market should have significant digital OH presence for programmatic OH to really take off?
So no, not particularly. You can start with a few screens, and India, you know, as a low at the moment is a little bit behind in terms of converting static to digital. But I believe that the digital screens that are in India are some of them are premium screens, and they are particularly good inventory for programmatic trading, because on these screens you want to be able to target a specific audience at a particular time of the week, maybe with particular conditions, dynamic conditions, and therefore you want basically to offer a premium solution to your clients for a premium screen. So I think these screens can be a good inventory to start trading programmatically.
Okay, in a market like India, and a market that I'm sure you would be very interested to have and build a good presence, you know, this market is typically different from some of the markets like in the Europe or North America. So if you really have to make a difference in this market, what would be that approach?
I think on our side, we think that we will work with innovators. We want to find the innovators in this market. We want to try programmatic. We have put a little bit of time on the side to test programmatic, and we want to offer a new way of buying out of home to their clients. So that's really the publishers, the media owners that we think we can work with, and that can start programmatic in India.
All right. In India, our experience is that there are already a few players who've entered the market with programmatic solutions, along with a few other tech solutions that they are offering to different clients. So given that there are already a few companies that are operating and there are also startups who are working in this space, in what ways can broad sign make a big difference here and build a huge presence?
Yeah, so yeah, we know a few Indian startups or
Yeah,
companies working in the
yeah,
programmatic space. And at Broadsign, we are open. We want to grow the market. Our objective is not to take market shares from others in out of home. Our objective is to grow the out of home market in the advertising spend. So we want to take market from online. We want to take market from TV. We are not interested in taking market from other out of home vendors or cannibalizing the market. So yeah, we know a few. We have, for instance, Lema, who is a DSP that is integrated with our supply side platform. And so our software is open in terms of API. We have a full set of APIs on all the modules of our platform. And these APIs allow other software vendors to connect to our software and like this propose significant advanced solution to publishers. So that's how we see we can work with Indian companies in this market.
wonderful. One of the points that you said at the outset was that awareness is a big factor when it comes to media owners participating on programmatic platforms. So in the Indian case, if you have to really work on awareness building, do you see an opportunity of working with any industry body or a platform by which that word can reach a much larger number of participants?
Yeah, so I mean, we are, again, we are open to work with industry bodies and other platforms. Yes, we really, I mean, we don't have, I would say, a particular focus on India because at the moment, I mean, we have more than 230 employees all over the world, but unfortunately, we don't have any local presence in India. We wish we could. Yeah, so at this stage, if we can partner with industry bodies or other vendors, we'll be more than happy to investigate these different ways of growing in India. So definitely we are open to all of this.
Wonderful. They're great to hear that. And hopefully such partnerships will come up in the near future. One of the things that we have seen also in India when it comes to digital OOH is that much of that is concentrated in the transit space. So when it comes to the transit space, it's in a fairly controlled environment where there are already pre-existing data points for effective planning and aspects that will that bring a lot of efficiency into this whole process. So do you think that is an advantage in getting started in an Indian market? Would you actually look at foraying into the transit media space and seeing whether your solutions would actually find a large market there?
Yeah, so our solution, we can first, in terms of audience, we can ingest audience data from different sources. So we've got a solution in which we can, through APIs or through data import, we can ingest a lot of types of audience data. In terms of control of the deliveries, we have also some creative approval processes in which we cannot play videos in places where it's not allowed to play videos, or we have restrictions on the type of content that can play in different locations. So this is all built in within our platform and all integrated with the approval process of our platform.
Okay. India has been a knowledge hub with a very robust IT industry here. And one of the things that I've seen is that IT is very central to programmatic OOH. One of the reasons perhaps that your parent company itself is located at a place where there is a very robust ecosystem that drives EOH and all the associated technologies. So do you see an opportunity for actually partnering with any of the startup organizations that are into technologies that connect with that tech in India?
Yes, definitely. I mean, not only, as I said, we are open to partner with vendors, software vendors in out of home, or even other vendors, other type of vendors in out of home, but also in ad tech or in other industry. we just want to make sure that we serve our objective to serve our clients, the media owners, the best that we can. And as I said before, grow the out of home market share within the total advertising spend. So it's really a question of moving, the dial from a few percent, depending on the countries, to going over 10%, even over 20% if we can one day.
Fantastic. If I were to know from you, what would be the USPs of BroadSign for anybody who is considering going programmatic and looking at the choices in the market?
Yeah, so first on our side, we consider ourselves as a technology vendor. So we work with media owners to help them adopt new technologies and innovate. So we are not an agency. We don't sell for them. We are providing the tools for them to sell and to trade or to operate their inventory. So BroadSign is also, as I said before, a company with more than 230 dedicated employees and enthusiastic employees, I would say, who are spread all over the world. They work very hard to service our client the best that we can. So that's also a strong value proposition for BroadSign. We work with all the major media owners all over the world. So I mean the largest, like JCDecaux, Clear Channel, Outfront, Media in Australia, Intersection. I think all the largest one are working with us. So we have a strong, robust, and complex suite of software integrated into one platform. So that's our, I think, value proposition at BroadSign.
All right. One key factor would be the commercial proposition. And why would that actually bring media owners to, or for that matter, even the buyers, to look at Programmatic OH?
So the commercial proposition for us is really, we don't charge any onboarding fees or any implementation fees. We work with you to onboard your inventory, so you don't pay anything. We just we get your audience data and import it into our system. So it's really a question of spending the time at the beginning, and there is no cost associated with this. And once this is set up, then we only take a percentage of revenue on the transactions that happen. So it's a win-win situation. So if you sell, then we take a percentage. So we just take a cut of what has been of the revenue that the publishers are getting. So it's really for them. There is no disadvantage or no barrier to try Programmatic.
As the general manager of the APAC market, what has been your experience working in this particular market in terms of programmatic adoption?
I think it's a great market. It's a fantastic market. It's Asia has the highest concentration of population, so it means that out of home is really relevant for this market. I think there will be a lot of growth over the years. Today, APAC is the #1 market in the world. We have it's larger, all combined, it's larger than the North American market or the European market. So, and I think it's going to continue growing. So for me, it's a very exciting time, and it's great to be in this market and help the out of home industry grow in this market.
Alongside awareness building, do you think that firms that are actually looking to go the programmatic way would be constrained from a skill and knowledge perspective? I mean, not so much knowledge perspective, because that has to be anyway developed. From a skill perspective, do the people working with the organizations also need to undergo any significant skill accreditation to be able to operate in the programmatic space?
So to try, I don't think so. To try, you only need a few screens and a few dedicated employees who want to set things up and try. But then, yes, once you pass this testing period, then you need to set up your organization to start trading programmatically, which means that you need to to change your sales force and the approach of your sales force to start talking programmatic, talk to agencies and DSPs, and set up programmatic campaigns for them. So it's a little bit of an organizational change. So change of the organization, but yeah, we can help with that because we had the experience of helping other media owners in other countries with this change. So that's something that definitely we can help.
Okay. My final question to you, Remi, is that while we often look at business from the supply side, eventually business grows when everything happens on the demand side. Yeah. And this particular case, the demand would necessarily come from the advertisers and from the buyers or agencies. So which is the best way forward in getting them to, drive that demand?
So what we see in other markets is that agencies and advertisers are really open to trade programmatically. Why? Because it offers them flexibility to start and stop a campaign. So for instance, we saw in the COVID-19 period, yes, the demand or the transactions on programmatic platforms decreased, but that was the flexibility that they were looking for before. And now that it starts picking up quickly as well. It gives them also the flexibility also to be able to target specific audiences at specific time of the day, locations, maybe triggered by some weather conditions or other conditions that you can think of that were not possible to be used before. So that's really interesting for the agencies and advertisers. That's a new value proposition, that's a new offer on the market, and that's what's exciting them. So they are not difficult to convince to try programmatic trading. Usually, this is what we see in other markets.
In the near future, do you think that programmatic can contribute to the OH share of the overall ad by getting to double digits and with greater number of advertisers participating?
Definitely. We saw, as I said, an exponential growth in the last few years before COVID-19, before February, in other markets. That was incredible. We never saw this before. So definitely, this is going to go within the out of home spend, but also bring online revenue, drive online revenue or online budgets towards out of home. And in Australia or in other countries, that's usually what we try to do. We try to talk to, when we talk to DSPs, because we help our clients, media owners, with conversations with DSPs and agencies. We target preferably the agencies that are focused on online advertising first, and telling them that now in the same DSP that they used to buy online advertising, they can now buy also out of home advertising. And that's key here, to be able to tap into the budgets of online advertising.
Wonderful. Do you also expect to see a similar kind of a shift in planning of media, where digital media and DOH can be planned together?
Yes, definitely. So now that agencies can see that they can buy out of home easily in the same platforms that they used to buy online, then they will start offering to advertisers more budgets to out of home. There are also, talks about omni-channel strategy and complementarity between buying online, out of home, TV, and other medias. I think this programmatic is going to help, because agencies will know that they can easily buy programmatic out of home programmatically. Whereas before it was negotiations between a publisher and an agency. It will take a long time. It was a barrier basically to grow the market.
Fantastic. I think that's a great message for the industry, and that's a very, very strong forward-looking statement. And we really hope that in the post-COVID period, this industry is going to see that big makeover that it's been waiting for such a long time, particularly in the Indian OH space. So thank you so much, Remi, for your valuable comments. Really great to have you on this OSHA talk. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.